Bob. Welcome back to Drones in the Wild. We got kind of a special one for me here today. We're at Leque Island, which is a Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife wildlife preserve, part of the Skagit Wildlife Area. And it's been undergoing some changes in the last year or so, and they'll continue to change because this property, about a century ago, was turned into farmland by diking off an area of the Stillaguamish River Delta. And it's been actually a great hotspot for birding, especially if you like northern harriers and short-eared owls in the wintertime. This place will be crawling with those raptors. And what conservationists have been trying to do and working with the state of Washington is return this to its original habitat, which was a tidal salt marsh, basically. And what they did first, and what you'll be able to see in this video, is they took down some of the vegetation, like some tree lines, and took out some of actually the tidal ponds and put in some channels. And these crisscross the whole property. And that's sort of the first phase, is clearing over the property and putting the channels in. And you'll see that pretty clearly in the drone video. And I'm also going to include some drone video from the past that I haven't actually put on YouTube before, sort of as a comparison. And the next phase, they're actually going to take down the dikes which surround the property, and that will actually allow the tide to roll in and turn it back into a tidal marsh. Now, there are, with any sort of environmental change like that, there are other effects. And one thing I've noticed this year, the number of northern harriers and short-eared owls is a fraction of what they were in the past. So I think some of the vegetation that they cleared out might have been where those raptors were living, might be where they had their nests or something like that, because they're pretty much gone. The only northern harrier that I see around here nowadays is one that lives here year-round. And I've only seen maybe one short-eared owl, whereas there would be tons of them. And here we are. We are going to walk up a little section of the berm. This is actually a small section. That's private property across the river over there. You can see Mount Baker in the background. So right now we are on the water side of the berm. You can see it back behind me. Now this end of the property, this is sort of the upland side. The berm is actually not very tall. In fact, the actual earthwork is probably 5 feet tall. So your tidal effects aren't as big down here. If you go down to the tip, because Leque Island kind of is shaped almost like a upside down triangle, the lower tip, which juts out into the water between the mainland and Camano Island, the berm there is pretty substantial. So when they do commence work on removing the dike around the island, it will be a pretty decent job. And even though I've seen fewer raptors here this winter, once the dikes are removed, it'll be even more greatly transformed. In fact, it'll no longer be sort of this protected flatland. It will be a tidal salt marsh. And at that point, the entire ecosystem will be completely different. Now, it will be back to more how it was before 100 years ago when they created these dikes to build the farmland. So you are kind of going back to nature to an extent. But a lot of people come here for nature as it is, and when they do come back after this work is done, it's going to be a completely different set of wildlife that they're going to be looking at. My only hope is that when they do build this into a tidal marsh, that it will still be accessible. You know, people can actually go up into it and see the wildlife that develops over time in this new area. So I really just wanted to show that, take some aerial videos to show what it looks like right now, and also compare it to how it was, you know, a couple years ago, because, you know, the changes are coming, and boy, if I come back in a year from now, it'll be even more different. So it's kind of interesting to see that sort of this land in transition, hopefully back to a stable, more natural ecosystem. But you know, time will tell, and I kind of enjoy, you know, documenting the process. So I hope you enjoyed what you saw. If you did, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the trail.